Yep.
I think it's recording. Hi, welcome, Lost in
Hi.
My 40s. This is our first video podcast titled Meet Your Hosts. All four of us are here to help put faces to names before you start the audio podcast 1 week from today. If you happen to be listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can stop and go to YouTube and find the video version and watch that. Starting next Tuesday, there will be one of these little video pre-shows every week on YouTube before the actual podcast is released on Wednesdays. But if you want some early ad-free episodes, special episodes, the video pre-shows emailed directly to you, and the ability to vote in the listener character power rankings, go to patreon.com/spacebearmedia, $5 a month. That's it. And you get more stuff too, like merch and access to other Space Bear stuff. So who are we? I'm Lacy. I'm the executive producer of this podcast and one half of Space Bear Media. Some of you already know me from my Facebook page, Zero Shame 40s, and the two other Space Bear Media productions, Zero Shame Stories and Mowage. So I'm 43. I live in Seattle with the other half of Space Bear Media. My husband, Ben. Let's say hi.
Hello. Hi, guys.
How old are you? Where do you live? It's probably with me.
Same place.
Yeah. And you're 43. Yeah. Did I say I was 43?
You did.
You did.
You did.
I'm not. I'm 42.
Because there's such a difference.
No, it's just that
she'll be 43.
Yes, I'll be 43 this year. And honestly, it's just easier for me to change it in my mind in January, even though my birthday's in November. So I'm technically not 43.
The whole time that I was 22, I was not 22. I'll be 23.
Well, that's
I don't know why. It was a very weird year for me, I guess.
What?
How did that happen?
I don't know. But the whole time that I was 22, people would say, how old are you? And I would go, I'll be 23.
Well, it was true.
What are
you drinking, Christy?
Right now I'm drinking twisted tea. Back then I was
there was no such thing. Yeah, there was no such thing as twisted tea. All right. So this one down here, Christy, has been my friend since the late 90s. We predate Twisted Tea. I believe our friendship predates Twisted Tea. You can find more of Christy on Zero Shame Stories episodes 3, 4, and 13. I can't stop talking you into coming on the podcast.
I'm having fun.
But first, how old are you and where do you live?
Well, I am 45 and I live in Baltimore, Maryland.
Right. And you will be 46 this year. Our birthdays are 6 days apart in November.
Yes, I will be 46 right before you will be 43.
Right. Exactly. So also one quick fact about the two of us, I guess. How many months after we met did you hate me before we became friends? So like,
I don't remember how long. I mean, it was 6 months.
Was it that long? See, I was going to say 3, but maybe you hated me for longer than I did.
Between 3 and 6. You hated me too. So
yeah, because you were like technically like my boss or my shift lead. And I didn't like, yeah, well, all right. So Ben, well, why don't you introduce Derek since he is your friend of forever ago, late 90s. Yeah.
That's Derek. I'm not really sure what to do to introduce.
This is my friend Derek. We met working at Office Depot together in the late 90s. Yeah. We've remained friends.
1995.
There you go.
1995.
Derek,
yeah.
Could you please introduce yourself and my husband, because he can't seem to do it.
Yeah, we met working at Office Depot together in May of 1995. Yep. So it's been a long 26 years now.
And did you hate each other at first, or was it love at first sight?
No, we got along right. Yeah, got along right off the bat.
Yep.
Romance from the start. All right. So as you may know from the advertising, if you've made it here, you have to have heard of this already. What we're doing here, I asked everybody's age. Oh, wait, did you say where you were? You're in Texas.
Nope. My age and neither one you asked.
Guys, you really need to keep me on track here. So how old are you, Derek, and where do you live?
I'm the oldest one. I'm 46. We'll be 47 in December. So I'm a late birthday as well. And I live in Dallas, Texas.
All right. To Seattle.
I'm so sorry.
Well.
Yeah.
2 Seattle, 1 Baltimore, 1 Dallas. We're all in our 40s. We're doing this podcast because I talked everyone into it. Lost is one of my favorite shows of all time. Watching it, rewatching it, to do this podcast is actually the 4th time I've seen it. And because I write outlines for this, it's really more like the 4th, 5th, and 6th time I've seen it because I'm watching it over and over to produce the podcast. But I did watch it the first time it came out. Originally, I watched it after having surgery, and I watched it once with Ben when we were dating early on, and now here. Christy, what's your Lost history?
This is only my second rewatch. I watched
second rewatch, so 3rd time.
No. Sorry, second watch. So
fuck,
my
I
first
didn't realize.
rewatch.
Okay, so I've seen it like a bazillion times. You haven't then actually watched it in 17 years, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I watched it on its original release. I learned how to program my VCR for this show.
That's
because
wild.
I worked, I think it was Thursday nights. I worked Thursday nights and I had seen the first show and I was immediately hooked. And I was like, I'm going to watch the entirety of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my first total rewatch.
Perfect. That's exciting. So I wonder if you're a lot like Ben. We'll get to how many times he's seen it, but a lot of it has been new for him. Have you remember everything, or is some of it coming back to you as we watch? And for the record, we have recorded all but the last 3 episodes of season 1 at this point. Derek does not know. Well, you've watched them. We haven't recorded them. So, right. So that's kind of where we are in this process as far as like what we've watched. So have you been surprised?
Quite a bit. Things come back to me definitely, but then, something will happen. I'll go, oh my God, that happened. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even the same for me, having seen it so many times. Remember, I nearly pissed my pants when the hat showed up, and it was just like, oh God, because I completely forgot that it was at the end of that episode. Ben, tell us how many times you've seen, sorry, shut up, Christy.
Sorry.
I can see you. Go, do it.
Just to make sure that nobody gets confused as far as the listeners go. I think that when I said that it was my first rewatch, you started saying, oh, well, have you been surprised like Ben? I think that you meant Derek.
No, I mean Ben. And that's what I'm getting to, is that Ben, even having watched it twice before this, right? Like was it just the ones? Okay, like there are massive plot lines that he's just like, I have no recollection of this.
Yeah, totally.
So I started watching it. I was still living in Dallas when it first came on, and I watched, I think it was like maybe half of the first season, and I really liked it. But then I ended up moving to Seattle, and my schedule totally changed, and I just wasn't watching a lot of TV. So the first time that I actually watched it all the way through was with Lacy. Some years ago. So I've only really seen it through once.
We were still in the the Green Lake apartment at that when we watched it. Cause I remember, cause it was early on within the first few years of us dating. And I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? You've never seen Lost all the way through. Yeah. We're watching it. And but so there are lots of things. And in fact, I think I remember even the last couple of episodes we've recorded. Every episode we go with Derek's questions. And you've had some, Ben, I think even in the last few episodes, because you just haven't remembered. Yeah. So let's get to Derek, the lone one who has never seen the show. When I originally thought of the idea, I asked Ben if he'd be willing to do a 3rd podcast because I'd already come up with 2, and he loves me, so he said yes. And so once I had that green light, I went directly to Christy and was like, how do you feel about being on a podcast? Because I knew that, like, you know, you were going to be into it, and I knew that you loved the show and it would be fun. And my initial idea, I thought, well, maybe we can find a counterpoint. I can find somebody who we know like hated the show and have sort of that other voice. So thinking about it. And right around that time, Derek and I were recording his episode of Zero Shame Stories. He is also appears on another Space Bear Media production, episode 12, if you'd like to go hear some more of Derek. And so it's
a crazy story.
Yeah. It's a good episode. It's one of the better ones of the season, I think. So go listen to that. And if you're on YouTube, all Space Bear content is on our site there. You'll just stare at the graphic while it plays if you don't want to go to a podcast app. Anyways, so I was thinking about it. I was like, let me just see, Ben, what do you think Derek might do it? He's your really old friend. Christy's my really old friend. Kind of makes sense. So I texted you and I was like, hey, Derek, what do you think of the show Lost? And when you responded, I haven't seen it, I was like, yeah, ding, ding. This is perfect. So you agreed to it. And just tell us kind of what was your knowledge of the show at all?
I knew three things. One, it was survivors on an island of a plane crash. There was some kind of monster on the island, and at the ending was very controversial. Either you loved it or you hated it. That's all I knew about the show.
That is true. So let's talk about that. We are going to dive really deep into the ending of this show when we finally get there. I'll tell you that. We do have a plan for the show. It premieres next Wednesday. That is September 22nd, 2021 is the 17th anniversary of the show. It ran for 6 seasons. We are going to do all 6 in the next 3 years. And we are going to finish this podcast on the 20th anniversary, September 22nd, 2024. Right? I said 3 years, 20. Yeah. Holy shit, guys.
It's 3 years.
Actually, I'm double fisting it because I'm in my 40s. So anyways.
Double fisting it in a different way.
Oh, well,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. We can't show how we're double fisting.
Ew. Listen, let me tell you guys something. If that at all offended you, this is not going to be the podcast for you.
Yeah. Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Just don't even. There's lots of drinking and drugs and sex. We're perverts. Masturbation comes up at least every third episode. It's who we are. If you can't hang with that, you don't want to hear it. All right. So a few questions. You have been warned. A few questions for everybody. Let's start with Ben. Why did you agree to do this podcast?
Well, one, we're married and it's COVID and you really wanted to do it. And it's, we had done a couple other podcasts and this one felt like I would be on the side of the mic and I handle production and all that and mixing for all of the podcasts. But this one, I knew it would be fun because I would just get to riff constantly. And that's one of my favorite things to do is just things that are said, you reach certain points in the story and it's just like, it really, really begs a smart ass.
Yeah. So if you're a fan,
that's my place.
I was just going to say, if you're a fan of sexual humor and dad jokes, this is the place for you. Welcome. Oh, yeah. Derek, why did you
all kinds of wacky wordplay.
Derek, why did you agree to it when I asked you to be on a 3-year commitment podcast?
Well, at the time you didn't say 3 years, you said episode or season 1.
I mean, I said the whole show. Come on. I just gave you a schedule for season 1.
Right. Well, because I'd been meaning to watch the show eventually when I had some time and, this looked like a good time to do it and, just get involved with this podcast and, just see how it goes.
Right. Christy, how did I talk you into it?
I mean, you asked me and I said yes. I had done a couple of podcast episodes with you. Yeah. I enjoyed doing that. I absolutely love the show. I absolutely love you. And I thought this would be fun. And I'm really excited that we are doing this because I feel like you and I get to like hang out
I know.
way more than we had been.
So that's a good segue into the next question, which is how are you enjoying the process? For everybody to know, we have been recording for, when did we start, guys? May or June, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was May.
I think it was May, and we've been meeting on Saturdays, recording 3 to 4 episodes per day. So yeah, how has that been for you, Christy? You liking it? I know the answer,
absolutely. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
We had a bit of like a hiatus for about a month there where we didn't record because
vacations and stuff.
Yeah. And so I kind of missed doing it. Even though I actually got to see you in person during that time period.
That was nice.
It was really nice. I'm really enjoying getting to know Derek. I met Derek at your wedding, but didn't really, it was kind of a whirlwind. So it's been great. I'm loving it.
Well, and that's where I met Derek too. I, of course, have known of him for nearly a decade. But yeah, the only time the 4 of us have ever been in the same place other than Zencaster recording broadcast has geographically has been at our Las Vegas wedding. So gentlemen, how are you enjoying the process, or not, I guess, but
should one of us go first?
Anybody, just come on in.
I'm having fun, period. Like, I'm having fun. It's again, it's a really good it's a really good occasion to just do what I do best, and that's just kind of riffing and having fun. I don't like the fact that we have to do it so early in the morning on Saturdays because obviously we got a lot of time zone difference.
Yeah, West Coast life. We're up
getting
early.
Up on a Saturday morning and being like, okay, let me go get all the equipment. So other than that.
Okay, awesome. So one more question. It's not entirely fair because I've heard all of these episodes in completion, as has Ben, but in which episode do you think we hit our stride, Christy?
I don't know. I would have to really think hard about that, but at least episode like 5 or 6 probably, because I think that by that point each one of us had presented.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
So that was part of it, and getting to know each other a little bit and the chemistry. So I think that it had to have been at least episode 5 or 6.
Yeah, I agree.
Because before we started this, I was like, I don't fully understand exactly what you want. So I wanted to do like, a rehearsal. So we did episode 1 of Family Guy.
We did, yes, as a rehearsal. And I just like presented that episode so we could kind of get the gist.
And I was like, oh, okay, if that's what you want, I can do that.
Yeah. And I sent you guys, I sent you some titles of other podcasts, and I was like, there's this bit over here and we're going to be sort of like that. And yeah, it's been really fun so far. I'm enjoying myself too, Derek.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how much you love it, Derek.
No, what I was going to say is this is the first time I ever did a podcast. I never even really listened to them before this, but I was really nervous the first episode because you gave me trial by fire and said, here, you're going to be presenting the first episode. And I had no clue. And I listened to a couple other ones, and I still was like, really, practically shitting my pants, not knowing how this was going to go. But after doing it a couple times, I'm a lot more comfortable. So it's actually been really fun, and it's really helps me when I watch the show even understand it better.
Luckily your mic setup in the first few episodes wasn't all that great, so we didn't actually hear you shitting your pants.
Oh my God.
Good too.
So we have gone through some mic changes and some technical difficulties and all kinds of fun stuff. We had to even re-record an entire episode because it got so fucked up. But it's for me, I think it's been fun. Like I said, I've listened to all of them. I think you're pretty much right, Christy. It really starts to gel right around 5, 6, 7. In like episode 8, we really hit the format kind of there were a few things that were sort of all over the place in the first few episodes. But really, yeah, I mean, I feel like now we're at the end of the season and I feel like we've really got the hang of it, and it's fun. I had the same thing when we went a few weeks without recording, and I was like, oh, I really want to know what Derek thinks of this episode. And so yeah. All right. That is everything for today. These are your hosts. You've now met us. You can listen to our voices and know what our faces look like. 1 week from today, you can listen to episodes 1, 2, and 3. If you want them early, go to patreon.com/spacebearmedia. You'll get them a day earlier and they'll be ad free.
I think you should have just said we hit our stride in episode 1. You know, we said we hit our stride in 4 or 5, then you tease 1 through 3.
This is what the podcast
are still good.
They're all
God.
really funny.
We're a funny group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a lot of what the podcast is actually like. We just interrupt each other and yell.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we wish death on certain characters.
Yeah.
Or we fuck them.
Oh,
kill
well.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll throw a little more detail of that. Power rankings every week. We do rank top 3 characters, bottom 3 characters, who we want to fuck, who we want to kill. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, you will be able to participate in the listener character power rankings, which will be posted on the Facebook page. So follow us on Facebook, follow us, which is Lost in My 40s. Then follow Space Bear Media on YouTube and whatever podcast app you like. We're in over 30. You're going to find us somewhere. I guess that's it, guys. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.